Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple hours, along with Nick.
Hi, are we allowed to be here?
Yeah, I'm still.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I'm still discombobulated. I forgot which.
Well, as long as we're allowed to be here, that's good.
Fine. Yeah,
Excellent.
you are.
Is my hat allowed to be here?
You're allowed. You are definitely allowed. And Spence is here.
Okay, good.
We're here.
Hey,
We're here for now. Wait a minute. What? There's somebody at my door knocking on my door. I got to go.
and Galley's here.
Not really.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you see? I
Oh.
told you. I'm
Dang
not
it.
really here.
Our number is
We have a
919.
weird
Five-
problem. We'll try to fix it.
That's all right. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, DudenIT.com, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
I've got some big news.
You got some big news.
Yeah, some personal news.
Okay.
I'm now a amateur radio general licensed user. I finally, after it's been about 5 years or so. Yes, thank you. You can now refer to me as General Nick. I finally upgraded from my technician class to my general class, so that was fun. Took that yesterday.
Does that include an increase in pay?
It does not, but it includes a hell of an increase in band privileges. So very excited for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Why?
I got
It has an increase in pay like tenfolds, right?
yeah, because it'll cost all the HF equipment costs about $10,000 times more than the rest. So yeah, did that yesterday. So yeah, that's it. Get an amateur there. With
Very nice.
everything we're going to talk about over the next 2 hours, amateur radio is a fantastic means of communication. If you live in any sort of semi-populated area, not even a highly populated area, but a semi-populated area, there is, in all likelihood, a strong amateur radio presence, repeaters, and depending on where you fall, some like-minded individuals. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend getting your amateur radio license. It's a perfect time to do so. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
All right. Anybody else has any story while Nick gets on the restream machine and see why there's no audio going to the audio only? I mean, I went and I tried to change
Okay.
sources, but there are too many of them now that I'm not familiar with. Oh, geez.
Story has what you want us to
yeah.
cover while you go do something?
Yeah, go ahead
But
and
this is all while you said we're here, right? Nobody's trying to shut us up.
Oh, that's not necessarily true.
Now I feel extra. I wear a souvenir T-shirt from the Pentagon. So now
So
I just noticed.
so let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Over the past 72 hours or so, there has been an incredible amount of censorship. Isn't even an accurate word to describe it. Complete and unadulterated a power grab, really, more than anything else, taking place online from sites like Twitter and Facebook, all the way to hosting providers like Amazon and Microsoft, and from
Mozilla.
Mozilla, which everybody uses Firefox. Yeah, good on you. But a huge, I don't even know what you'd call it. I mean, it's like essentially a book burning going on social media, and it's not just social media. It's big tech in general, from app stores to operating systems to browsers to services
To retailers.
to retail. It's almost unbelievable.
It is the technical or a technical gulag
So
they're creating.
it started. What's today? It started Friday. Late in the day on Friday, it started with Twitter permanently suspending Donald Trump on Twitter, which it is what it is. It's a private platform. They can suspend whoever they want. And then it very quickly. Obviously, there was some sort of conversation going on between these companies, because it was on one fell swoop. A Parler, which has been gaining popularity over the past year or so, they were banned from the Google Play Store, then banned from the Apple App Store, and now Amazon Web Services, AWS, has notified them that at midnight tonight on January 10th, that they will be shutting down their hosting account due to threats of violence, which is complete and utter bullshit. But Amazon's going to do what they want. So there really is, a huge issue going on the internet right now, where essentially half of the country, at least 70 million people, and those people are considered domestic terrorists and threats. Without getting too political, obviously big enough threats that Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Twitter, Facebook, and all of these services, Twitch, YouTube, all felt the need at the same time to shut mass groups of people down. So obviously there's some threat there. I don't know what the threat is, because I'm part of that group and don't pose a threat. But there's obviously some threat, because it's all coming pretty coordinated, and there really is no place to go. It's all going away. There's going to be no place left to go.
The conspiracy theory side of it is that there's information that could be released before the end of the Trump administration that would be extremely damaging to these people. So they would like to make it as hard as possible for that information to be
to propagate.
I don't believe that's the case. I
think that's what they're afraid of. That may not be what's going to happen, but I think they're terrified that it could happen. WikiLeaks released a whole bunch of new stuff. So that's the frustration. It's like I tell people, talk to people and say, well, there's all this information, but it doesn't get anywhere. Nobody ever sees it. He said only the people that see it are, the ones who are maybe aware it's out there. But if you ask anybody else who's a mainstream media user, they go, what are you talking about? It doesn't exist.
Well, I'm going to hop on my soapbox here for a minute and say that this is our fault. Spence, it's your fault. Amnon, it's your fault. Gal, not necessarily yours, but it sure as hell's mine. This started about 2 years ago with Alex Jones. If we remember, he was totally removed from the internet. And because it was one guy, we all said, that sucks. But what did we do? Continue to use Facebook, continue to use Twitter and YouTube and Amazon and Instagram and Snapchat. And now it's finally come home to roost. And we are sitting here with our pants down going, I can't believe this has happened. When the writing was on the wall for almost 2 years, that this was going to happen. It happened. I think it was a first successful test with him. They did a damn good job of essentially removing him from the internet. And now it's us. And now we're shit out of luck, because we stood by for 2 years using these services that obviously don't like us. So that's where we are.
But have they removed him from the internet?
from
For all-
everything that is centralized. Yes, he's
for all
I mean,
practical purposes.
yeah.
For
Yeah.
all practical purposes.
Yeah, I mean,
any sort of social media he's gone. He's got his own services now, but that didn't happen overnight. That was a 2-year process. He built his own CDN. That was his solution. Build band.video. But that doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you don't build a CDN tomorrow. I mean, I guess you do, but it doesn't work like that. So it was a slow process. And we all sat back and watched and said, "Oh, well, it's not me." And now it's me. And now it's you. And now it's all of us. And we're and frankly we deserve it because we allowed it to happen. So without sounding like a total jerk,
So
that's the reality
here's-
of it.
It's so funny. You go and look at the ACLU.
Everything about the reality you're describing, I'm green again. Everything about the reality you're describing, while this is what's happening, you are not describing, right, what has prompted such action. And it's not like this is happening in a vacuum.
well, I mean, I'll say something about this. I did not. Now, did I go look and dig? Did I dig deep to find it? No, but I did not see anything that he said there was an incitement. And after all this, I feel that what they are doing right now with banning and banning and banning, that's an incitement because I feel rage that they are doing this. I think they're doing more inciting than any words that he may or may have not said.
Look,
Did
go-
anybody hear him inciting violence?
Go back and listen to the words of the people who are accusing
Never mind
us
accusing.
now.
Never
no,
mind.
I mean, but listen to what they've said over the last year.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Things
hold
that
on a
they've-
second.
It doesn't matter.
have never
But
been.
But
It's
let's
just
keep
that's
this
the
on a
hypocrisy.
but let's keep this on a technical aspect. Gal, from a Trump standpoint, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, you can make your argument. Let's say it's valid, but that doesn't explain what's going on with Parler and Amazon Web Services.
Oh,
That
I don't. I'm not. I don't know even what's going on there. So
well, I mean,
won't
well,
even touch
the
that.
biggest thing in here is not Trump getting banned from Twitter. That's irrelevant.
Right.
The biggest problem I see here is that in the last 24 hours, a well-known, well-running social media service has been banned from literally being able to do business by Amazon, Google, and Apple, and that to me is very concerning.
Right. It's obviously was orchestrated in a way.
It's just
Oh,
concerning.
of course it was.
And that
I agree. I agree. I do not think it is more concerning than we are still using these systems of Twitter and Facebook,
Yeah.
these privately owned system, and we still expect them to be these public platforms. They're not public platforms.
No,
Right.
you're correct. That's why I said it's our
the
fault.
one thing I've been busy with myself is becoming a very passive consumer on those platforms, because otherwise, right, I am knee deep in whatever they're offering. So yes, the people I know, the people, my friends, they're over there. So in some of these platforms, I still exist, or I have not. I have stopped participating because I do not want to become the commodity of these platforms. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going on any soapbox. I don't care what anybody else does, but uh, only to an effect. I do want, right, to find my people, my friends on the open platforms, the truly open ones, the ones that are not, that are completely decentralized, the ones that cannot be shut down, where if you shut down one node, you didn't shut down the entire system, right? And that's what I'm looking for. By the way, you were talking about a year ago about Gab. What's
Yep.
their status?
The Gab is the truly only decentralized one because, again, they went through this about 2 years ago. Their web host
Right.
cut them off. Everybody cut them off, and they had to they had to work and fight. And everybody said, oh, well, Parler's not banned. Well, it only took 72 hours, and now Parler is going to be completely closed.
Gab gained 750,000 new users.
Yeah,
but
Gab
their site is
was-
currently.
No, but in the last couple, I'm just going to say, in the last couple
Yeah.
of days, Gab has no presence on the Google Store or on Apple App Store. So how are they haven't, nobody's carried their app.
Yeah, they had to build their own
So-
payment processor. It was
So
it's a
they
whole
had
thing.
they can't, just like Parler was removed from Apple and from Google, the app itself. They survived, but I don't know how they're doing it. But
Well, but again, this is the point, is that from a tech standpoint, this all happened almost 2 years ago, and we didn't do anything, and we just expected things not to change. And now we're stuck where, like it or hate it, our guy, at least for me, is out of the White House in 10 days, and now everything from the internet is going to be banned. So we allowed this to happen. There's no two ways about it. It's because it's easy to use Facebook and Twitter and Amazon and Instagram and Snapchat. And we waited, and now we're sitting ducks, and now we've got nobody to support us. Frankly, that's where it is.
the ACLU will support us. Go read. I was at their site this morning. Go read the important issues of free speech. They're concerned that violent protesters, don't have their say because of police oppression.
The thing
So-
is, okay, now, Nick, explain to me. I really thought when everybody was talking about going to Parler, that Parler was decentralized.
Well, it's not, because they have a server,
Yeah.
and their server provider is Amazon.
I didn't know that, and I'm astounded by that.
Well,
When I saw that, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
No,
They didn't understand that they were going to be a huge target.
I mean, Parler, Parler gained its popularity over the past 6 or 8 months because it was on the App Store, unlike Gab, which was not. But now Parler's going to be in the exact same situation. Again, Gab, this happened. Like, this is not a new thing. This all happened over a year ago with Gab. And now the same thing is going to happen with Parler, and the same thing is going to happen with all of these other services.
You see, this is what I never understood, and maybe it's because I don't choose the app. If there's no app, it's not going. I mean, the app
Correct.
should be in my opinion, the app is an addition.
Yeah. The problem really is the Google Store is much more wide open than the Apple Store is, right? Because you can sideload, you can do things that are very difficult to do in the Apple environment. You can do a jailbreak and load other apps, but it's a hugely complex process, and you risk voiding the warranty on your phone. You risk all these different things. There was an update that just came out to Apple, and I didn't catch it in time because I was set for auto updates. And somebody put out a text saying, oh, this is going to be how they remove Parler. This is an update for them to pull apps when they feel like they want to. That was in this update. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get it in time. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But they control their ecosystem very well. They can take an app down and literally remove it from everybody's phone.
Correct. And it's always been that way. That's not, and it's their service to do so. So yeah.
No, it's not pleasant to see that we are being controlled. And I read something about, I can't remember, I think it was Elon Musk. Somebody was saying that we are being herded. I mean, people are being herded by these big tech companies.
Oh, he accused, was it Facebook? He accused Facebook of being responsible for the riot.
Yeah. Yeah. And I installed Signal because, hey, he was saying.
Because he said it?
Because he said it. And I thought about it and I said, wow, I never thought about it. And then I thought, my cousin from Canada, when he was here about a year ago, said the same thing. He said, I will not use WhatsApp. I use Signal. And I said, okay, now, these are people that know what they're talking about. And as much as I use it, and I asked Gal yesterday if he's using Signal, and he said, yeah.
And Signal is actually pretty mature. as far as the app itself goes. They have end-to-end encryption.
What?
They don't have the taste of a startup. They look like they've got their act together.
I did not understand. Somebody explained to me something. I did not understand something. When you go to Signal, it doesn't ask for a password.
No,
When
it identifies you by the phone number.
okay,
Yeah, that's how you register. And you want to add a new device. I added my iPad, and I used my phone to scan the code to
yeah,
enable that device. So that was how it was
And
added.
you actually,
okay,
I'm sorry about my greeniness.
that's a fact.
And you actually have an option to lock it to your identity with an additional PIN after
Yeah,
you
that's.
claim
But they said that
the phone number.
the pin, from what I read, will only be used when, or is important when you want to restore stuff. If you go to another phone or something, that's when you have to use the pin. It's not
Well,
like
when you want to preserve your identity, when you don't want anybody else to grab that number,
oh
right, without your control.
no
You also, when you move it to extend it to a new platform, the history does not come with it. It
Correct.
says specifically when you do that, the history is not propagated across to this new device.
Well, if you double check, it doesn't do it with WhatsApp as well. What you
Yeah.
do get with WhatsApp is you get a backup that is actually local to
right.
your it's just what WhatsApp does automatically, it switches on all of those backups, including a cloud backup. So when
Yeah,
you
I
move to a new phone, it seems as if it restores all of your history. It does not do it from the WhatsApp servers. Okay. But yeah, I'm struggling with the because I mean, being a non-US, non-Apple user, right? WhatsApp is the next communication platform. And so all of my contacts, all of them are using WhatsApp. And so if I pull myself out of WhatsApp, I am becoming less reachable. In places like Israel, I think I talked about it a couple of shows back, right? WhatsApp is everywhere. You get commercial support using WhatsApp. You get there are I I'm not sure about government services if they started using WhatsApp or not, but on the news, if they're talking about I don't know, like a local health insurance, you get a WhatsApp support line from them, and in a way, this is a terrific platform for communicating. The real problem is it is owned, right, by this malicious company. I can't put it any other way, right? This now I'm not saying Signal is this perfect platform, but it's giving everything that we have right now, because Signal isn't decentralized either, and it is owned by this nonprofit.
Yep.
And that's great, but we do need to remember, right, while everybody involved in Signal, everybody at least publicly involved in Signal, is like this clean representation of free speech and security and privacy, they still need to make money, and they're making money from donations. One of the most substantial contribution was WhatsApp, right? WhatsApp bought the technology of the end-to-end encryption, and that's why there's a reason these two apps are very, very similar. It's because by design, right, they're practically the same. And so I'm pretty sure we're safe using Signal. Yes, I'm not dishing that, but it's still a centralized system. It's not a decentralized system. It still is controlled by a specific entity, and that entity can be compromised, right?
Hmm.
So even that isn't like the solution for all. So we need to find people. I think it's the first time that a mainstream discussion about decentralization technology is coming, is maturing, but we're far away from people actually wanting to send their baby pics on a decentralized system. And I think that is what we need.
I in some way think those days of using the internet are over.
Using the internet, what?
The way that Gal just described it,
Oh,
I think those days of using the internet are kind of over.
What do you mean?
The idea that what Facebook was when it first started out, where it was literally just seeing what people were up to, and stuff like that. Those days are over. I mean, you scroll through your Facebook. I know you don't use Facebook, but if you scroll through your Facebook feed, it's not even people posting about anything. It's them just sharing posts from other people and screenshots from other services and sites. Those days of social media, and for at least for me in my use case, are over. That's not for everybody, I understand, but
Right.
for
But
me, those days are over.
look at how your parents use Facebook. Look at how your cousins use Facebook. Look at their usage, because they're the majority, right? We are those who think about what happens behind the scene, and so we're definitely not the majority. But
Correct,
look
we're
at how the
not, but I think
majority of people are using it. That's the key.
true. But I will say this: that majority is going to get bigger and bigger because of what's going on right now. You're going to have a lot of people that are, I think a lot of people are going to fall into that mindset here very shortly. Non-political
So
people
I'm
are
not.
watching.
I'm.
Non-political
I'm not
people are
as
watching.
optimistic as you.
Non-political people are watching what's going on right now,
yeah.
and that's very concerning. That should be very concerning for them. When I say them, I mean big tech.
Yeah. I mean, to really explain here what this whole discussion is about is how we always criticized other countries for even thinking about a kill switch of the internet. This is a kill switch, very selective one of the internet.
Correct.
Whoa, look at this country. They want to have a situation where they can just cut themselves away out of the world. Well, it's exactly what we're doing here. And you don't hear anybody that was complaining about it complain. Oh, yeah, there's enough complaints from people, but people that can do something, that's, they're not paying attention to this. And you know what? The sad thing, it's going to come back to bite them later on. Because once this is allowed to happen like this, when it happened to Alex Jones, like you said, Nick, said, it's just one person. And
Not me.
he's still, and he's still operating, but not the way he was.
Yep.
Now that it's happening like this, that it's not against one person, it's against half the country, so to speak. I hope that the reaction is going to be different. I hope.
Well, people will never know the whole story if they don't inquire.
Well,
so it's all that. If you've been on any of the regular media news in the last week, most people would look at this and who come from a background of understanding the issues would look at this and be appalled, because you look at the news, the way stories have been presented, the way stories have been ignored, that you just look at this stuff. It's extremely frustrating. I mean, I used to throw stuff at the TV over the years. First time I voted in a presidential election was 1980. And first time I was actually aware of anything. I mean, I had never voted before. I was what was I, 25 years old before I ever voted. And since then, I've always been aware of, through whatever vehicle I could, about what issues were. But people who aren't issue aware are looking at this stuff now, and all they're getting is that these people are bad. They need to be removed. They need to be shut down. They're terrorists. They're anarchists. They're this, they're that. That just the picture that they're painting of a vast portion of our population is not true, but they're doing it. And they're jumping on each other to see who can outdo each other to make it look worse.
Oh.
People actually calling for, just media outlets calling for people being put into camps because of their beliefs. Literally. These people are sane. And it's applauded. It's applauded. You look at Hollywood. Oh, yeah, we need to do that. We've needed to do this for a long time. These people need to be put away, eliminated. That's the term they're using.
Spence?
Eliminate these people. Get rid of them. What does that mean?
Hey, Spence.
Hey,
Spence,
Amnon.
Did you change microphones?
No, you're popping a little bit.
Yeah.
You're just
All right,
you're
well, let me turn
popping
down-
your P's. That's all.
I need the muff on this mic. I turned my gain down a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's not, Spencer. No, you're spot on. And again, I know this isn't a political show, but it's literally, it's not literally. It is only happening to conservatives. There's just you can't make an argument the other way. This has been this Parler, the Twitter accounts banned over the past 72 hours. You want to talk about Trump's account? That's one thing. But General Flynn and all of these other people, Ben Garrison. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's a cartoonist. I mean, he's not a political activist. I mean, he's been freaking making political cartoons for 40 years. I mean, why would he be banned off Twitter? There's no logic behind it, and it's clearly an attack on, it's an attack on an ideology, and that. But again, we knew this was happening,
and that as a generic thing to attack an ideology. What's next, right? If you can get away with it, this is another thing we don't agree with. It's conservatives now, but what happens? You know, all they have to do is step across the so-called line, and that person who has been a good person for the, whatever the powers that be suddenly isn't liked anymore. They're gone. They could be disappeared. It's that attitude.
Well,
I think it's obvious now, and I'll talk about this more on Against the Norm tonight. It's obvious to me now that this was the plan for 4 years, and we sat back, and now when we are finally going to have no control over it at all, it's all going to happen, and we're going to be SOL. Because it wasn't affecting individuals like Trump, for example. He wasn't banned for the last 4 years, but it was affecting all of his supporters, and he obviously didn't care or didn't know to care, and now he's out of office, and it's here. Everything is being banned in the next 72 hours. There won't be anything left. So, a great time to get your amateur radio license, as I said earlier on in the show. The tests are about $15. If you go to ARRL, is it ARRL.net? ARRL.org, you can find an examination class that is near you. The technician test is easy. Relatively, there are a lot of online resources to taking your test. I would highly recommend getting your amateur radio license. It's a great time to do so, and without sounding like a total crackpot, it is true. Besides your power getting shut off, which is possible. It is truly an open platform. Minus obviously, you could jam the bands, but for the most part, it's an open and free platform, and it's relatively localized, which is one thing that social media. And maybe we could talk about this for a couple minutes. I think we've lost the sense of community, right? Because our community is people all over the world, and that's great, right? I'm a great example of. Well, I met Amnon and Spence and Mike and now Yugal all online, and now we've become, you know,
a community.
personal friends but in person
Yeah.
friends. But that doesn't happen very often. I mean, the reason I'm living in North Carolina is because of Google Plus, which is kind of weird when you think about it. But that sense of localized community is gone. And fortunately, without sounding like an amateur radio shill, amateur radio can provide that. So that's my pitch. Go take the technician test. Get yourself a little Baofeng radio and call it a day.
I was actually thinking about that thing when you said that you got the general, and I was saying, wow. So how would it be if everybody got ham license, and all this talk of that now is being done on social media would be done on the air?
That
what
would be
would
a
they
hell of
do?
a lot harder to stop.
I mean, what would they do? Would they send vans out there with jammers?
They could just jam a whole band. I mean, they could theoretically, but I mean that would be a very
right.
At that point, it would be a very there would be a lot of other issues if they got to that point.
Right.
But
I mean, but it's just.
But again, it's unfortunately for most people, and again, I'm not happy to say this, but you're a day late and a dollar short. You stood by and watched this stuff happen for years. And I get it. You can't go back in time. And I mean, if you can, you should. But if you're not going to go back in time and change it, you're going to have to adapt pretty quickly. And frankly, bitching and complaining about it isn't going to do anything. It's not going to change. I mean, this conversation we've had here on this show today is not going to change anybody at Apple's or Google's or Amazon's opinion. Nothing is going to change those opinions. So you can bitch and complain about it all you want. That's fine. You know, well, I love complaining and bitching. But it's not going to change it. So you either do something, frankly, or shut the hell up. That's the approach. So
one thing
get off Twitter and Facebook. Even if I'm not banned. I'm done with Twitter and Facebook. I deleted the apps from my phone. I'm not using the accounts anymore. I'm not deleting the accounts, but I'm not using them.
Yeah,
I should have done that 4 years ago, but I'm a stupid jackass and I didn't. So now I'm doing it now.
The way that I take it is, I mean, I'm not even posting the shows on Twitter anymore. But I'm going to take it. I'm just going to use Facebook to take advantage of it for the streaming. But I'm really thinking, and Nick, tell me if this can you do 24/7 on Facebook?
I don't know.
I'm thinking that I'm going to switch it around and put Facebook on the reruns, because right now it's coming out of this machine.
Yeah.
And support now today I'm having even problem to say, well, I should support Twitch because Twitch also is doing this.
But again, Twitch has been doing this for years. Twitch suspended Trump like 6 or 7 times throughout his thing. There is a good site to check out if you're interested. It's called DLive.
Yeah, I am.
TV.
I'm. We're doing it on DLive, but DLive cannot be embedded.
Well, correct. But for most people, that's not a concern.
Yeah, right.
DLive is a good site. It's surprisingly enough, it's actually Chinese owned, I believe, which is quite ironic. But they have become a refuge for banned
because it's decentralized.
Well, it's not that it's decentralized. It's that it's controlled by the Chinese, and they don't care if you're a liberal or a conservative. They don't care. So it's funny enough that the Chinese website DLive is the most open video streaming platform in the United States right now. That really should be a sign of the times that's happening. But Amnon, from a technical standpoint, you can't just start a social media. You need a CDN. You need a way to serve content.
Right.
And
right.
How do you? I mean, you can't afford to roll your own CDN. I mean, that's of course you have to use Amazon Web Services or Azure or Google Cloud. You have no choice.
That is incorrect.
Yes, it is incorrect. I agree. But
no, I'll explain. It's technically feasible, right? But what it requires some technical setup that isn't too approachable to everyone. It's not it's not impossible, and I can say it is becoming a lot easier, right? But if you look at PeerTube,
Yep.
check them at joinpeertube.org. That's a completely decentralized video platform. The whole idea of having something decentralized is, one, you control the servers that you initially run on, right? And two is, once you start propagating content should become ubiquitous. So you need to mesh basically technologies like BitTorrent, which is a completely decentralized content distribution system, right? That the more you use it, the more people use it, the higher the bandwidth it provides, because everybody becomes a peer inside a mesh network. That's the meaning of decentralized. It means there is no single point of failure. And so when you tie technology like BitTorrent, right, and some sort of web hosting that is, Tor is a very good example, right? When you bind these two together, then yes, you cannot be shut down. You can shut down a node, but that shouldn't affect the rest of the system. And that's where we need to go through. Now, it will never get government grants to development, so it's always going to be slower to develop, right? Because no controlling entity will ever want to develop something they can never control. I mean, that's part of blockchain talk, right? That's part of why people are looking at blockchain as part of the solution. So it's all about who controls all access. We can never have full control of all of access, but we can definitely make it so that nobody, including governments, have control to all access. And that, I think, is where we need to strive. And technology needs to become a lot easier for that specific piece.
Yeah. If I
So it
find,
is possible. It's going to take time, but I think the more we have situation like this, like mass banning, whether it be conservative or not, because while I do feel that right now the focus is anti-conservative, and I agree. I think the fact that we probably don't hear about leftist is, from what I've seen, the small portion that I've seen, that side is somehow highly technical, and usually that goes to Snowden level paranoia, right? So I'm guessing they just remain under the radar
Well,
over
and
there right now.
but but no, you're actually wrong about that, Gal. What they do is they evolve and adapt. So something happens and they actually do something about it instead of complaining. And that's that they get, if some leftist gets banned from a service, they either move to another service or build their own. Do something instead of just saying, "Oh, this is terrible. Let me go now back and sharing memes on Facebook," which is what conservatives have done for the last 4 years.
Right.
And now we're out of time, and now we're all sitting here with our thumbs up our ass going, "Oh, what are we going to do?" Oh, I don't know. What have you been doing the last 4 years?
yeah.
Nothing, because you're lazy.
Mm. Oh, well.
So, but hey, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'll tell you what, and I'm still working through this in my head. There's a lot going on. I think this will be good for a lot of people. Social media is terrible. It's toxic. It's disgusting. It sets a false sense of reality.
It's a cesspool.
It is a cesspool. I think for a lot of people, myself included, getting off of Twitter and Facebook is going to maybe significantly improve my life. Maybe this is for the best. Maybe in-person community and things like that this is going to force on. Maybe this is what needed to be done. Maybe, and this is not me coping with the situation. This is me trying to look for the silver lining, because at the end of the day, we don't have any control over it. We can't. These companies are too big. The government has allowed them to run amok, and there is nothing at this point that we can do. But I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to go, handcuff yourself to the Twitter headquarters like that lady from Florida did? It's not gonna, it doesn't change anything. Just makes you look like a moron. So maybe,
Right.
maybe this is for the best. I don't know. I'm trying to keep some semblance of something at this point.
You just need to remember one important thing. Life goes on. No matter what happens, life goes on. And you have to, in order to be able to cope and to survive in this world, you just have to think and try and make it so that you are not agitated by every little thing that these twerps are doing.
Oh, but that's tough.
I know. It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. I agree.
What the question you have to ask is, and I just said something in the chat, this isn't the end game.
No.
This is not. This is just a step in the reconfiguration of life.
Right.
There are people who don't think, or who think that they have a say in how you live your life and what you can and can't do. And we already know this. We've seen it happen. We see it happen every day, where more and more liberties are stripped away. And this is what the warning we got when the United States was founded by, somebody asked Franklin as he walked out of a meeting to say, what kind of government have you given us? And he says, a republic, if you can keep it. Well, if you can read, there's a person named Alexis de Tocqueville, who was a Frenchman who came over to study the United States in the early 1800s. Read some of his writings about the government will lose our freedom when the government figures out that they can basically buy the public off with money. So that once they figured out they could do that, which is what we see, is a large segment of the population will just go along with anything. So check out Alexis de Tocqueville.
Yep, there you go.
All right. Do we have specials?
We do.
We do.
Band
specials.
Do we want specials? Does anybody have any money left?
Yeah, I just got the Federal Reserve just printed me $1 trillion.
Oh, I got most of that myself.
Great.
No, wait a minute. I think a lot of it went someplace else. That's true. All right. So I couldn't resist this morning. I had to create a couple of memes. So you like that one, Nick?
Yes, very much. So I like that.
All right, good. Bueller. All right. So yeah, and I won't read this stuff, but you can look at and see some of the
that Mozilla one is very interesting.
Yeah.
If you're a conservative and you use Firefox, you need to bounce, because they essentially said you don't deserve to be living.
Check out WaterFox.
WaterFox?
Yeah, it's a fork. It's an interesting one. I've been using it now for 2 weeks, just because Firefox is banned as a platform in my workplace, and WaterFox allows me to run Firefox.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's one of the interesting aspects of it. It can run the old Firefox add-ons, the ones that were removed, because that's why WaterFox was created in the first place, to combine the new and the old. So interesting.
Isn't that, and Gal, this is a great point, because you're a big proponent of open source.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. This is the advantage of open source.
Definitely.
That this could happen. Where if it was closed, it would never happen. So
I agree.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I'm a proponent of open source.
And how many of us are absolutely
only leftist open source?
Yeah. How many of you are just absolutely losing their mind over Microsoft Edge being the way that every time you get an update, it shows up again. And I have to say, I do use it, because sometimes I run into a web page.
Come on, it's way better than what.
Oh, it is.
Anything
It's much better than it was.
So yeah, they they shove it down everybody's throats. But
It
they
is.
did it
I
with
I have to
Internet
I have to
Explorer.
say
They
that
did it with
I do use it when I run into a web page that won't load right. I go to Edge and it works. So I'm not dissing the. I used to diss the app before to say it was trash.
Yeah.
It was in the beginning horrible,
yeah.
but
The
now it's
previous
very
iteration
good.
was terrible.
What I'm talking about is their marketing of it and the way they
They're
push
Microsoft.
it.
Yeah.
It's just you get an update, any kind of an update, it shows up again. Oh, and every
Oh,
time
we
it
have
asks you,
this free thing. Take it down.
yeah, come on, use this. Don't you want to use this? And you got to keep changing your defaults back. Now, at least they don't automatically change your default. They'll ask you, and a couple of times, you sure you don't want to use it?
Yeah, here's
It's-
some water with it, to swallow
It's
it.
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
All
is
right.
going to be, you're going to get $25 gift certificate.
Well, I mean, that's what they did with Bing, right? What
Yeah.
Nick is telling us,
Yep.
they're using the reward system.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming back now. Like AT&T is offering $250 a line to switch over to AT&T wireless. $250 a line. So if we moved, we'd get $1,000 to move over to AT&T.
$1,000 in what? In call
Gift cards.
credits?
Gift cards.
Gift cards.
Yeah.
Actual
Yep.
money.
Actual money. It's amazing. And AT&T, by the way, Amnon, AT&T is in my neighborhood putting the fiber in. So
Yeah. All right,
fine,
let's
we
go.
have okay. All right. So Staples. And I admit today I was a little lazy in the way I found stuff. I actually was up pretty early, but I sat here and did this. And so I didn't drill down. In some cases, I kind of cut and pasted in a broader swath from the actual.
Stop with the
weekly ads.
excuses.
Oh, it's an excuse. I'm just trying to explain. So I have no standards. That's all. Okay. So at Staples, we've got a HP Pavilion. I'm gonna move my microphone and tell me if it's okay, because I have to move closer to the screen and put on my glasses so I can read the fine print here.
Yes, it's getting kind of lower.
No,
but
I
it's
just
okay.
my
but
mouth
it's
is
still
turned
good.
away from the mic.
Yeah. It's,
All right, so this is good.
Yeah, it's fine.
14-inch, 8 gig, 256 i5 laptop for $549, which is $90 off. Got an Asus 24-inch LED monitor for $99, which is 10 off. And what is it about flash drives lately? The prices have cratered. You can get Lexar 32 gig USB 2.0 flash drive. Let me see this. This is not the best deal. I bought a USB 3.0 128 gig for $19, and it was a brand name. So the prices of flash drives have come down, but $5 off on this Lexar. Let's see. We've got a Lenovo Ideapad 5 Intel Core i5 laptop for $499, which is $200 off the regular price. We've got a Asus 27-inch LED monitor for $139, 10 off. On the accessory side, we've got Logitech M310, 325, 325 C330 wireless mice for $12.99, say $5. One advantage to some of these mice is that the stuff that comes with a wireless keyboard, unless you buy a high-end one, the mice aren't all that great. These are more functional mice and good prices. Good for travel. Good for travel. Got a 2 terabyte Seagate One Touch external USB hard drive, $59, $23 off. And got a Netgear AC 1200 gigabit Wi-Fi router for $89. Now, this is not the best Wi-Fi, but if you're extending it into a room where you need gigabit Ethernet support, or for whatever, if you add as an add-on, I wouldn't use this as my primary router necessarily, but if you have wired connections to other rooms in your house and you need to extend service, like to pick up a streaming device or something like that, this would work well because it's a gigabit switch. So if you want to wire it or you want to do wireless, it's AC 1200, but $89. We've got a Lenovo Ideapad 3 laptop with a Pentium processor. It's an entry-level machine, but the Pentium, if you check, most of them are actually quad cores. And so it's $100 off. And Brother Printers, really hard to find anything on sale. I was in Office Depot this week buying something, and they have a full array of Brother printers, at least displayed, but no sales. So I'm not sure what the case with that. Maybe the manufacturer is not extending the opportunity for them to put sales on these items. But still, this particular printer, the basic laser printer with duplex, does not say wireless. Last week we had a wireless printer for $99 from Brother, the entry level duplex wireless. This is not duplex. I mean, it's not wireless, but it's still a good deal for $99. Very reliable printers. That is at Staples. At Office Depot, Office Max, we've got an AOC 27-inch LCD monitor for $129, normally $179. A Lenovo V15 laptop, 15.6-inch. This is an entry-level machine, a little pricey, but still. Athlon Gold. I mean, I saw that name and I thought this has to be a refurb. It's not. So they're out there with their low-end processor now. Mobile processor is the AMD Athlon Gold. I believe it's still at least it's not 4 physical cores, but it is 4 processors, logical processors. For $339, 110 off. A Lenovo Ideapad S145, AMD Ryzen 7 for $479. That is a good deal for a 7. And it's not that much off. So the starting price for this was pretty good too. It's $479, normally $549. And we have a HP desktop AMD Ryzen 5 machine for $469, 30 off. And again, on the printer side, really hard to find low-end printers. A lot of them, I guess, got gobbled up with the people staying home. But Canon image class laser all-in-one monochrome printer, $149, very nice business level machine. Nice big paper tray, holds more than 1 ream of paper. Does have a sheet feeder, multiple sheets, is a fax machine. This is normally $199, it's $50 off. And then Canon Pixma wireless inkjet all-in-one for $149.99. There was one cheaper inkjet. It did not have, it was an all-in-one, but did not have a sheet feeder. This actually has a sheet feeder. This is again, a inkjet printer. Hard to find entry-level inkjets.
This is an all-in-one. This is not just a printer.
No, it's an all-in-one. It's a good price for an all-in-one. But comparable to lasers. You can get a laser all-in-one for $149, just like the image class one before it, right?
Yeah.
So if you can hold out and get a color laser that's got the image resolution that you need, it's probably a better choice. They do make them in all-in-ones. Logitech MK335 wireless keyboard and mouse. I think their prices in general have come down. This is one above the typical entry-level keyboard. I have the entry level here. I can't remember what model number it is. Not written on the top.
Doesn't matter.
But this has some additional multimedia keys. But $19, normally $29.10 off. Here's a SanDisk USB 3.0 64 gig flash drive for $899, $19 off. I mean, really, I bought a couple of these just to have in my kit for working on people's machines. I did an upgrade this past week, moved people over to new PCs, and these come in very handy for moving files. Samsung 500 gig internal solid state drive, $54.99. I actually bought this. I bought one at Best Buy and I bought one at Office Depot. I bought a Samsung and I bought a SanDisk, both the same 500, both the same price. It's a good deal. It's $35 off. And that's it for Office Depot, Office Max. And finally at Best Buy, their ad today was just kind of odd. It's like the people haven't come back from Christmas vacation or something yet, but it was a little confusing. Not a whole lot of stuff on sale. Asus 17-inch AMD Ryzen 7 laptop, 12 gig of memory, $699, which is $100 off. Got a Lenovo Yoga 6, 13-inch.
It spans?
What's that?
Let me stop you a second. Are you rubbing your finger on your mic?
No? You're hearing that?
I hear like like
There's
somebody.
you know what it is? There's a dryer in the house running down the hall. Let me
Oh,
close the
oh,
door. That could be the sound you're hearing. It's a repeating sound.
sounds real sounds
Is that
weird.
better? Is that better?
Yep, I don't hear it now.
Okay. I think it's the dryer down the hall. Okay. Lenovo Yoga 13-inch touchscreen laptop, Ryzen 5 for $549, save $150. Got a Lenovo Idea Center i3 for $429, save $50. And we have a Open. Remember that brand name? There's still a lot of stuff around from them, right? Yeah, this is the first time I've seen them with a monitor. Open 23.8-inch monitor for $69.99, $30 off. And this is a good deal. This is the first time I've seen a 4 terabyte portable drive hit the same price as a 4 terabyte desktop drive, USB desktop drive. So $99, save $50 on this drive. And I got a PNY 64 gig USB 3.0 for $9.99. There we go, another good deal. Normally $19.99. And we've got it's tax season, right? And a lot of accountants have moved over to virtual gathering of documentation. I know mine did. And he set up a whole system now where we had a spreadsheet that we would use to organize tax documents and then basically paper clip it to each page. Well, now it's going to be done using scanning. So I have a bulk scanner. I have a very good Brother scanner, and I also have a small portable one. But if you have a lot of documents to scan, this is the high-end Brother wireless desktop scanner with touchscreen LCD automatic duplex scanning, which is very nice. $229, $40 off. And we've got the Anchor USB-C hub with power delivery, which is a nice little device. It's $29. This is good for what power does is it's a pass through. So if you have a USB-C power supply that powers your laptop, you can plug that into this and then this into the laptop, and it's power pass through. But it also has other USB ports and an HDMI port on it. So it's a mini docking station, but good price. And finally, this is for you, Amnon. Do you know that Dyson makes a hair dryer?
No, but I would expect them to.
You know how much it costs?
No.
$549. It must be a vacuum that they shrunk down or something. They probably took a vacuum and they said, let's make it into a hair dryer. Can you imagine spending $540 on the Dyson Airwrap Complete Styler? And it's got stellar reviews.
But imagine all the money it'll save you on having to listen to other things people complain. That can be a pretty good investment.
Yeah, I guess.
Look, if you paid $550 for a hairdryer, and then you complain about it, whose fault?
Well, I just mean
That's
other
right.
complaining in general. You can just use this as the reason not to complain.
No,
about
I'm
things.
talking about the stellar reviews.
Yeah, nobody is going to put a negative review.
No,
Right.
that's true.
They're not going to show
Look
their
at me,
face
I'm
in
a
public.
dumbass. I bought this $549 dryer.
A husband. I can't believe I wasted $550 on this thing. That's gonna be the
Exactly.
review.
Oh boy.
Eh,
And I just for fun, I used to have a Best Buy ad from the 90s, and I can't find it anymore. I had the actual ad, but I found this online, and I thought it'd be fun to look at. This is stuff that was on in the Best Buy ad from 1994. The Brick. That was my first phone. I had a Motorola Brick. And I think I
Hey,
paid at
free.
the time, with the contract, I paid like $250 for it. And it was the kind of thing you used only for emergencies because you had to buy minutes. Literally, it's like,
Yep.
how much? 100 minutes a month. And that costs, $60, $70, $80. So this is cellular one. I was GTE back then. But free with free installation, but they're not telling you what that phone costs.
right.
Here's a Amnon. This is your next system, a 486 DX2 66 megahertz system.
That was something back then.
It was. I built my first 486.
Jeez,
Was it a DX? What was the other one? There was a DX and an SX, right?
SX.
With the
You do
SX was the
understand.
cheaper one, right? Yeah. So
You do
I bought a
understand.
board out in California. It was an SX board, and I was thrilled to have it. It was like, this is the fastest machine I've ever had. I couldn't afford the DX. It was so much more money.
I think I still have the Encarta encyclopedia on a CD somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
You do
Amazing.
understand a Raspberry Pi Zero, which costs $5, is faster than this, thing. And is the size of what,
Yep.
like a couple of quarters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You could probably run
Yeah.
all the navigation needs for the space shuttle with it too, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, so this is $2,000 for this desktop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but look at that.
$2,000.
It comes with preloaded with software,
Oh
blog,
boy,
crap.
crap that you will never use, right?
Hey,
Yeah, on a
back then,
420 megabyte hard drive, that means
Come
you
on.
get 100 maybe.
yeah, but back
to
then we
use.
took anything that we could.
yeah,
The thing that sold computers back then was, how many CDs do I get with it?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it comes with a double spin CD-ROM drive, whatever
Yeah.
that means. All right. So also Epson inkjet printer, $200. And then an Acura 144B. What is that? 14.4? 144? Yeah. So 14.4 modem, $99. Oh my gosh. I had a 36-inch CRT television that weighed 110 pounds. But it was great at the time. It was S video, and I guess it was S video was the highest resolution you get. So standard quality, what is called SD today, right? Hook it up to a VCR. But a 31-inch stereo TV with AV jacks, GE 587. My goodness. And then finally a Sanyo VCR Plus universal remote for $189. Absolutely incredible. All right, and finally, I couldn't resist. I had to do one other meme. Don't worry, darling, you didn't burn the beer. Free speech goes up in smoke. The government's responsible. Internet users are, oh, that's okay. And that's it for specials for, what is today? January 10th.
I had to jump out and go because that Acura reminded me of something. And I remember having 3 boxes that never sold, but it's not. It's what I have is a Supra
Oh,
56K. Yeah. Yeah. Them were the days.
they were.
Thanks, Spence.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Okay. So here's a couple of stories here. After all this working from home, it says that 29% of working professionals say they would quit their job if they couldn't continue working remotely. This is according to an online survey of 1,000 professionals by Live Career, an online resume and job search consultant.
What was the percentage? 20 what?
29%.
This probably sounds about right.
Well, I mean, to
You
quit
gotta-
your
you-
job?
Well, here's the thing, though. How can I say this delicately?
I know. Be careful.
I'm sure that there are a lot of people that hate their job, and they're not making a whole lot of money hating their job.
Yeah.
And at this point, there are a lot of companies hiring remote workers. So if you hated your job, but you're not making the money you want to make, and they want you to now go back to your office, Why not?
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Remember, these are not the people that the 29% are not people that are making $100,000 a year working remote.
Right.
So take
And
that for what it's
and
worth.
it seems like I remember reading something that a lot of these people that are working from home and not making much money actually got a second job working from home, and one employer doesn't know about the other, and they're
That's risky.
I know it is.
I tell you what, I don't anticipate going back to my office. When they ask me to go back, I'm not going to.
Because you don't want to, or because
Yeah,
you
I just
got
don't want to. I don't want.
Well-
I have no reason to.
Well,
I can sleep a lot more. I'm more productive during the day. I'm eating a lot healthier because I can eat at home. I have
mhm.
no reason to go back. I'm saving a whole bunch of money, saving the company money. I have no reason. I have a 3-bedroom house by myself. It's me and my cat. There's no reason for me to go work in an office. If I had a wife and kids here all day, I would say, okay, I need to get into an office, but I don't.
My first
Now, I'm
thought
not
when
going
you
to quit
mentioned
my job over it, but I'm sure as hell going to push not to go back. I don't have any reason to.
my first thought when you mentioned this story was that it was rather naive of people to think that they would find another job if they quit.
Well,
I don't know, man. The markets are hot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a serious need for good work. And if you look on any job sites, Indeed, Monster, I mean,
Well, what kind of
even
job?
LinkedIn. Yeah,
Is it
well,
work-
you do have a job.
Yeah, I mean, work at home jobs, obviously. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean, it says-
there's lots of places hiring.
it
I
says
want to
that-
work for a car dealership as a mechanic, but I want to work at home. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, a remote tech.
That's it.
They're saying that those teleworking are generally white collar office worker who can perform their jobs with a phone and a computer. Obviously, I mean,
You have a
know,
lot of entry level people that are
Yep.
in that group
Oh
that
yeah,
again are not happy and not making the money they want to make. So why would why go back?
Yeah. it's. I mean, I would probably try and find a job before I quit that job, but
Oh, that's always the idea.
yeah.
I'd recommend that as well. That's a good life tip. A free life tip from Computers 2K Now. Don't quit your job unless you have another one ready to go.
Now listen for something else. We were talking about WhatsApp and Signal and all that. The reason why, and I remember why Elon Musk was promoting Signal. WhatsApp's latest terms and privacy policy allows the popular messaging app to share significant amount of user data with Facebook. WhatsApp users are today receiving, that was last week, receiving an in-app notice informing them about the app's updated terms of service and privacy policy. The notice gives an overview of the main 3 updates covering how WhatsApp processes user data, how businesses can use Facebook hosted services to store and manage their WhatsApp chat, and how WhatsApp will soon partner with Facebook to offer deeper integration across all of the parent company's products. The which are set to take effect on February 8th are mandatory, and users will not be able to continue using WhatsApp unless they accept the term. And what he said in his article is that now they will share phone numbers, locations, everything.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they need to make money, right? For things.
Oh, yeah, but they're owned by
Elon
but Facebook
Musk
owns them.
Elon Musk passed
It's
them.
not.
So
It's so. Here's the thing, okay? This is nothing new.
Right.
Yes, right now people are presented with the prompt. I'm presented with the prompt. Uh, I think it's a good thing because it'll help me move family and friends out of WhatsApp into Signal, which I've been using in parallel, right?
right.
But also, I think it's important to understand what stands behind this change. It's not a change. It's not a huge change, or at least it's not like an eye-opening, oh my God, the end of times change. Facebook, as a company, a group of companies, right? Because they purchased, they have Oculus, they purchased Instagram, right? All of these platforms, as well as WhatsApp, are part of what they call the Facebook family of companies, and they have created an integrated messaging environment for them. The first step was taking Messenger out of Facebook completely, creating it as its own platform, and now everything is going to hook up to that platform for intercommunication. So the thing is that they are selling to businesses, right? Facebook presence and Facebook based services. One of them is communicating with their customers. And what they're doing with this move that now prompted in WhatsApp, and they've already done it in Instagram, is they want the Messenger platform that will be available to businesses as well, to be able to communicate with their customers no matter on what Facebook platform they're using. So, is it changing anything about personal chats, personal groups? No, not really. I mean, it is expanding the terms of service. They you suddenly give them permissions to do a lot more. But the change is focused around business communication, and so it's about the business WhatsApp business API that's been exposed to other businesses to do business through WhatsApp. And just so, if they are already doing business through the Facebook APIs, WhatsApp API will be included in that as well. So that's the change. That's just so you understand. I'm not against or for that change. I still think everybody needs to do everything they can to separate their identity in any platform, right, from any Facebook platform. Unfortunately, with WhatsApp, one thing you cannot do is you cannot disassociate yourself, because you must be identified by the phone number. And that,
That's the case with Signal too, and
yeah,
Telegram.
but Signal isn't hooking up to anything, and there's no
True.
API that you, right, for now. And that's why I said Signal is also not the end, the solution to end all, because it's still a centralized system. So once they, for some reason, decide, and that might be the case, to shift focus, I think what will happen is that another open source platform will fork out of it. But then again, you are busy with migrating, and migrating a social network is complex. You now want the 50 plus people that you are interacting with on that network, you want them to shift as well. Change isn't that easy, right? Yes, everybody can theoretically just install an app and start a conversation, but most people don't. So it takes time. I've been using Signal for probably Alex, I installed Signal probably about 2 years ago, right? But only now, in the past few months, right, I've been actively using it because more of my friends are using it. And that's the main problem with any social network.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you and I have messaged each other outside of Signal. I don't believe we've ever texted before.
Skype. Just
Oh,
Skype.
okay. Yeah, outside of Skype,
Yeah.
but I don't believe we've ever
Yeah.
texted before.
No, because when we had Skype, which was convenient.
Yep.
And the next step was Signal, and that was I think the first time we exchanged phone numbers.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Signal's great. But again,
yeah. When I communicate with Gal during the week, everything is done with WhatsApp.
well, there you go.
And to be fair, WhatsApp right now, right, with the trouble that it's not innocent, right? The company that runs it is the most convenient form of communication for me, because I can do it from my web browser very easily. It's still secure. I don't really have a problem of fearing that WhatsApp as a service has access to my content. That's not what's going on. They don't, and at least the end-to-end encryption mandates that. But um, it's they still own the metadata. They still own my contact list because I granted access. There's no other way of operating with it. So and that is a problem. Basically, that's a problem. That's definitely a problem.
You guys mentioned, that you are the ID you by your phone number.
Yes.
I found out something real. I don't know if I need to worry about it. I have my cell phone since about 96 with the same number.
Before I was born.
Okay. I don't know where I in going to some website this week, I saw something about you can check to see who just called you. Just put the number in there and it'll tell you. So I put the number, and I know I've been getting for the last few years, I've been getting texts to somebody called Anthony Cash. I have no idea. I said, well, what are they sending? Do you know I put my cell number in there and there's not one mention of the fact that I own it?
That's pretty common.
Everything is that Anthony Cash. I mean,
I don't think. Yeah, the cell phone. That's on the carrier. That's just an issue. The carrier's just not reporting the correct information.
It's amazing. I mean,
if you call your home phone, what does your caller ID say?
No, it says it's correct. It says the Amnon Nissan and everything.
Okay.
But I mean, if I'm trying to find out a phone number and who belongs to it, who it belongs to, you cannot depend on it because it is not accurate. In some cases, let's put it this way. I'm sure most cases are correct, but if you put the number in there and
I just looked up mine.
Yeah.
My cell phone number, and it says it's owned by Genko.
You see?
De Lazoria.
Isn't that something?
Now, to be fair, I haven't had this cell phone number for probably close to 10 years, but still.
Yeah. And I mean, I went in like 3 or 4 pages, not a mention of my name. So
what is this site again?
I don't remember. No, you just go ahead and put it in the search. I mean,
just type your phone number in Google search.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So this is mainly for the local that live locally. We all know that there is a deserted mall in Cary called Cary Town Center.
Rest in peace.
I heard about that.
And there was a big thing about it that they are now fixing it. First, it was going to be IKEA that's going in, and they canceled.
Right.
Then they were saying that starting January 31st, this other company is coming in, and they are building this and building that, and they had all kind of mock pictures like, hey, this was going to look like, and all. Yesterday I'm reading and it goes, Epic Games is buying an old shopping mall.
Yes.
With nearly 1 million square feet of space and plans to convert it into a new global headquarters by 2024.
And they just bought another company.
A huge company.
Yeah.
The deal gives Epic the 980,000 square foot Cary Town Center for $95 million. Cary Town Center is about 2 miles from Epic's current headquarters. Epic Game has been based in Cary, North Carolina since 1999 and has 2,200 employees in its global workforce. So anyway, they're buying it. And it's going to be interesting to see come on, it's a huge
I think they're
structure.
not buying it. I think they bought it. I think like it's a done deal.
It is a
Yeah,
done deal. Yeah, no,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
bought it. Well, they said they said that they're going to turn obviously some of it into their headquarters. They're going to have some sort of public space, I believe, with the
Huh?
gyms or something.
They have
that
to.
was in.
They can't. No company can have something that big. It is
I'll tell you what, though.
unbelievable.
Well, sure they can, because the space is not set up for offices. It's set up for
Yeah.
retail. So
Yeah,
it's going to have to be repurposed.
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't think they're
going
going to. They might tear it down. I don't think they will. That'll cost way too much.
they'll do something to adapt it.
All they have to do is really go into those big stores that were abandoned, and like there's a company called Vibe that is for, I think it's for women mainly, that they go and it's a, what do they call it, shared workspace.
Oh yeah,
And they took one of the big spaces and just built walls inside and turned it into offices.
Well, let's be clear.
So-
Epic has got so much cash on hand; it doesn't
Yeah,
matter. I mean,
right.
they'll,
No, I understand.
They'll do whatever.
It's-
but
it's
I
very-
did. That's a pretty good deal, though. If you think about it. So they bought the whole thing for $95 million.
Right.
There's no other land. I'm sure there's no other land available in
No.
Cary for that price.
There isn't. No
Yeah.
way.
So that's a hell of a deal for that's a steal.
Now,
that is
and
that is a steal of a deal. For
And
them.
the company and the company that sold it to them, I think, made about $5 million. Because the article said that they bought it back. Oh no, more than that. I'm sorry. It says its current owners picked it up in 2019 for $31 million.
Yeah, but I wonder how much they sunk into it.
I don't know.
They've been operating
I
at a
don't-
loss. I'm sure.
Yeah.
for
I
at
don't
least
think
a
they
year.
did anything to it.
But the
because
main
they couldn't
thing,
find
the
anybody.
main,
That was supposed to be where
the main
IKEA.
thing,
IKEA was going to go.
the main thing that they did though, is they got the Cary Town Council to approve its rezoning, which would permit office use, hotel rooms, and multifamily housing.
Oh yeah, that's
Wait.
a big controversy too that you're going to start seeing,
Yeah.
especially from the liberal media up in Raleigh. That the affordable housing isn't going to happen because of Epic Games.
Nah.
Like Raleigh doesn't have enough of affordable housing. Just
Well,
just get ready for it.
There are mandates, land use mandates now that are coming down that say that some percentage of all new development has to have affordable housing.
It's
Yeah,
just,
insane.
it's just
This is not a new
interesting.
development.
No, but I mean, it is a new development. It's never been housing before.
It's just got rezoned. So
The mall did not have zoning for that, but around the mall there are residentials, there are apartments.
Yeah, but there was a
Right.
brand new big complex that's being finished just on the other side of Carytown Boulevard, just north of the mall.
but they were
Huge,
supposed to
huge
part,
new complex.
part of their renovation that they were supposed to be doing that Amnon was talking about was building a significant amount of quote unquote affordable, which isn't affordable, but affordable housing. So that there's going to be some. I already saw people online bitching about that.
I mean,
But yeah, no, that's great. Good. And I'll tell you what.
87 acres. I mean,
But for the employees, though, that's great. Right?
Oh, yeah,
'Cause imagine if
absolutely.
they had moved to northern or southern Raleigh. I mean, now
Hmm.
you're talking about employees that are now going to have to travel an extra 30, 40,
Yeah.
depending on where it is, 50 minutes to work. It's what, 5 minutes down the road
Right.
from where they currently are.
exactly. Yep.
So, I mean, that
This is-
was a very good move by them.
It's going to be very big boost to the downtown Cary plan too, because they built the new library, they built all this new stuff down there, and it's doing well considering, but they still have a lot of businesses that they'd like to see leave, like auto repair places right on Main Street in Cary that they'd like to see go so they could develop that property. But you've got some like Bond Brothers Brewery is there and a bunch of other places involved. So it's a hot spot right now that's growing. And this is it's only let's see, maybe a mile and a half away from where this is going to be.
From
Yeah,
where?
They're next to the Crossroads Center right
Yes.
now, right?
Yeah.
So
They are in the
Yeah.
crossroads, what's still called crossroads. The area, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
it's
they're just outside that shopping center.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about I thought, it's about.
Yeah,
not-
it's
I don't
really
think
close.
it's a
It's
mile.
like- It's up the same road.
Yeah.
And they go up Walnut Street
Right.
and they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. And yeah, and they're growing like what, like
Well,
500% in area, and I'm green again.
yeah, and they grew
Every time I say
lately.
something controversial.
Huh? What do you
No,
mean?
it's your temperature. It's your temperature, Carl. Your body temperature. The sensor in your cameras. When your body temperature goes over a
cool.
certain amount, it
You know,
goes green.
they say any advertising is good advertising. I mean, Epic has been in the news the last how long, Nick? Oh,
Christ, 3 years. I mean,
yeah,
they're all over the
because
place.
they were fighting Apple, and they were. I mean, and a lot of people criticize them, but any of that.
Oh yeah, because
talk
they're
did them
successful.
good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Exactly. You know,
Oh, because in America today, being successful is
It's
a
bad.
bad thing.
right?
Yeah. Making money and being successful is a bad thing. You need to, if you're successful, that means you're screwing over other people. That's the mentality that
Yep.
we live in, especially with people my
Nah,
age.
it's because it's because they're socialist. Their number one selling game is free.
Yep. Yeah. But my generation believes that anybody that's successful is doing it for first of all ill intent and to
On
and
the backs
to
of
hurt.
other people.
Well, and it is on the backs of other people. That's how everything works. I mean,
Well-
there's always you always do things on the backs of other people, but that doesn't mean that you're stabbing them in the back
Right.
or
Exactly.
screwing
Right.
them.
Yeah.
I mean, if
You
you
pay
hate
them.
working at Epic, then quit. Go find another damn job. Shut up.
Yep.
I mean, it's not that complicated. If you hate your job, if they're treating you poorly, go find another job, especially in Raleigh. Jesus Christ, there's a million tech places to work.
Yeah, but there's
I know
no
easier said than
gaming.
done.
They're using the gaming industry workers.
And
I
here,
still find it strange that this company, right? They are what, a year ago? No, a year and a half ago, right? They opened the Epic Game Store on PC,
Correct. Yes.
giving a free, usually very high quality, very high priced game every week, right? Something that no other gaming company that works in the same arena of PC has done. Not even, even the DRM free GOG,
Yeah.
CD Projekt's site, they did like a few very old games, but these are new games. They're infusing life into the PC gaming environment, something that Steam hasn't done ever, right? Steam was always, from day one, they were this problematic player because they wanted DRM in games, right? And so here comes a DRM based game store, right? And gives for free high quality games.
Yeah.
Next week is going to be Battlefront 2, right? Which was $60 a game when it came out. It's
Yeah,
like,
well, during December, they were doing a free game a day for like 21 days or something.
Right.
Yeah. So I've got a whole library of games now.
Yeah.
Epic.
So
Epic's ideal. Epic is taking over the video game industry, and it's great because unlike what other companies do, some other companies do, Epic
Yes.
is taking their success, taking their wealth, and reinvesting it back into primarily their engine, the Epic, the Unreal Engine, which is powering pretty much every new game that's coming out that's not made by Activision or Blizzard or one of those companies. So instead of just taking their money and locking it in a vault and carry, they are taking their money and buying things like they bought this week. They bought Rad Game Tools this week, which is one of the oldest and makes some of the most well-known and well-used video game development tools. They bought Rad this past week, which is a huge acquisition. And now I'm sure some of these tools are going to be built directly into the Epic Games, the Epic engine, the Unreal Engine. And it just is going to make game development easier, which is going to mean more people can develop games, better games, cheaper games. It's a win-win for
and it's good for the community. The whole thing.
Yeah, but yeah, it is. But a lot of companies don't do that, and that's
Right,
the thing
yeah.
is unlike. There's a lot of hate around Epic, especially people hate the Epic Games Store. people hate Epic because of just because they're popular.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of hatred for them. But they're just unloading on. I mean, Unreal Engine is free. It is the most advanced video game engine. It's probably the most advanced video game engine in the world. It's free. Now there are license terms. If you make a game there and use the free version, your license terms do require you to split proceeds with Epic, as you should. It's a free tool that they're offering, but you can just download it and play around with it. There's no cost. You can make videos in it. You can do really, really cool things in it, and they're investing heavily into that. And they're trying to own the video game development market.
What's the source of the hate? What's the not the source? What's the vibe of the hate? Where is it targeted?
So people don't like exclusivities, especially on PC. That rubs a lot of PC players the wrong way. They don't like exclusivity, and the fact
but Steam has been doing it since.
Well, yeah, but that you can't. That's not an example
that doesn't
they can
count,
deal with.
right?
It doesn't
because
count.
that exists. Yeah.
Exactly. Doesn't matter. No, but exclusivity, which I don't like exclusivity, but when you make your launcher available for free and you don't charge me for it, there's no reason not to use it. So you've got that, and the success. I really do think it's the success. We're so brainwashed into believing that success is such an evil thing, and it's not. In the case of Epic, they're not taking the money and running. They are investing it directly back into us, the gamers, by making better tools available for developers, which gives us better games, more fun, cheaper prices because the engine's free. Have they done a bunch of screwed up stuff? Absolutely. So has every company. But as overall, Epic has done an incredible amount of work for the video game industry.
Well, and something else that happened this week. It's very interesting that we've been talking about, mentioning for a long time. Employees of Google and parent company Alphabet announced the creation of a union on Monday, escalating gears of confrontation between workers and management of the internet giant. So there is already a union. It's not like they're going to do it. They did it. That's it. And they were saying they're going to start collecting dues and it's open to everybody and blah, 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 blah. So that's going to be interesting to see how. I think that's the first big tech that has a union. I don't think Amazon has a union, do they?
No, they don't. But it'll be funny. Google, the progressive giant, who loves unions, is now going to hate unions because they're coming after their checkbook. So watch how quickly Google does a 180 on unions and all that stuff. Because
we'll see.
Once it's in your own backyard and you've got employees striking, it's not ideal. Couldn't happen to a better company.
So let's go to cord cutting. Discovery Plus, the new streaming channel from Discovery, is officially available in the US. The list of places where you can download Discovery Plus is extensive, with almost every popular platform but the PlayStation 4 and 5 included in the company's launch. It's going to cost $5 a month if you don't mind ads, or $7 with no ads. And they listed the channels. It's pretty good channels, but not. I don't know that I would want to pay $5 a month for it.
I get Discovery on Philo TV now. In my subscription, I get 60 something channels, and I get Discovery, and they're heavily advertising it there. And I'm like, it's the same shows you can get from other places. It's just a different streaming experience.
Right, HGTV.
They say there's supposed to be some unique stuff there, but I don't know.
And if you're in England, in the UK, tens of thousands of website owners who are based in the UK might have started the year with an unpleasant surprise. URID, EURID, that's their registry manager of that EU domain name, has suspended that EU domain names registered by UK citizens as a result of the regulatory changes caused by Brexit.
Brexit. Awesome.
Suspended domain names can no longer support a website or service like email, and owners now have 3 months to prove their right to run a .eu domain. This means updating contacting data to transfer that EU to an EU subsidiary outside the UK, or declaring citizenship or residence of an EU member state.
Yeah.
Now,
they just created a proxying business.
I mean, they created a business. This is unbelievable. I mean, we have at Delta Force quite a few customers that have foreign domain names, .uk, .au,
Yeah.
and when I was in the beginning asked to register it, I found out, oh shoot, I can't register it for them. They have those places, those countries require that there'll be somebody there, and they will
Right.
tell you who to go to do it. So there are registrars that are specializing in offering
in fraud.
foreigners. Yeah. It's amazing. Let's see who that is. Hello. Hello. I can't hear you if you're talking. Oh well.
Yeah. A general recommendation: it works better when you plug it in.
Yeah, I see some movement on the screen, but nothing. No sound is coming out.
Okay. So yeah,
And I don't
EU.
understand what is 1-200. Nah, that's probably junk.
That's the calls coming from that alien ship that they detected.
Yeah.
That
Right.
came in, spun around the sun, and left again from some I forget, but they figured out where it came from. But it looks like it looks like a giant frozen turd, actually.
But yeah, I mean,
Supposedly intelligent life.
This will be great for new businesses to supply other businesses in the UK with that. So really, nothing will change except probably an interruption. But I would hope that any legitimate business already knew that this is going to come and did whatever they need to do in order to stay up on. All right, let's try it again. Somebody there? Oh, very, very low.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Hi, I'm calling you from Norway.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I really enjoy your streams, and I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you. You have a question?
No, I've been getting a lot of hate recently. I just wanted to ask for advice.
Sure.
So in our country, there's a movement called Taking a Knee movement, and I've been getting a lot of hate. I don't know why. Well, you see, I was standing up. Well, I wasn't standing up. I was taking a knee. But but I'm sorry.
Does this have anything
It's
to
a
do
bit
with
hard for me.
computers? Or
Yes,
with
yes,
technology?
yes, yes,
Okay.
Come on,
yes,
Amnon.
yes.
Hang up. Look at get this jackass out of here. Come on.
All right. Anyway. I mean, yeah, it's almost the end, so I don't need to hear any more ringing.
You may have just squashed a new dissident movement coming out of Norway and its birth pangs.
There's this story about Amazon. I'm not going to even read it. I'm going to take a stand.
You're gonna take yourself off of Amazon?
You can't take yourself off of Amazon because if you want to shop, I mean, sometimes Amazon has the best price. So, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking advantage. I'm not going to contribute information if I can help it. This is why I'm thinking, okay, so I'm still going to post all the shows on Gab to announce the shows. I'm going to try and be a little more active on Gab. Not going to do anything on Twitter. I actually started to delete videos from Twitter yesterday. But then I said, gosh, this is going to take a lot of time. Well, what do I care? Let it stay. Some people want to go. No, I'm sorry, not on Twitter, on Facebook. And I said, let it stay. It's fine. People can watch it, but nothing is really going on. It's going to be stale. So that's how I'm going to. That in my mind, I'm going to use them without giving them anything to use.
Any benefit?
Any benefit. Maybe I don't know. Now I may be giving them a benefit just by using them. But in my mind, no. I'm just using them and that's it. So I started, what was it, like 2 years ago, or I can't remember when it was, to get off of Facebook, and then you find out it's a big to do, and it's like, what's the saying, cutting your nose in spite of your face kind of thing. For what I do here, I need Facebook for the stream. So I'm going to keep on using that. I'm not doing anything on Facebook other than that. I never post anything. I never repost. I never tweet anything other than, okay, this show starts now, or yeah. So it's not like I'm active on those platforms. And I would love to hear if anybody here thinks that, no, I'm not looking at it the right way. Going once? No, guess not.
The only reason I'm on Facebook is to share pictures with my family.
That's what I will not do. I will send it directly to them.
Well, some of the stuff is not impossible to do, but
I never posted a picture.
Put them all on Signal.
Yeah,
but I've got to get all my people that I would have to try to convince to move over to Signal are not going to go.
Now,
see, that's the problem. That's the issue right there. We have to. It's a Band-Aid. That's a big cut. There's a lot of hair on your arm. It's gonna hurt like a bitch.
Yeah.
But you have to do it.
But
that's it. Yeah. There's no. I don't know. It's past the point of trying to fight it. It's just you just gotta cut it. Gotta cut it off.
Gal just said something, about Signal, and he mentioned something about somebody was saying about the data of WhatsApp and all that. I found the hard way that there's a lot of, that after Uzi passed away, and then a couple of months later, I had to go to another phone, and most of the pictures that were posted there were gone. So once this started with a new phone, what I do now is when there is a video or a picture, I capture it and I save it on my computer. So it will be backed up. And the same thing now, once I start using Signal, is if there's something you want to save, capture it and put it into a file. I mean, even if it's just text that you think, oh, this is interesting, a joke, whatever. Capture it, put it into a file, a Word file or a Notepad file, and save it. Because, yes, those systems, because they are so, I guess it's because of the security, and that's why they don't save that stuff, so nobody can get it. But it's as long as everything is running, it seems like everything is still there. But once you change and you go to another device, if you have to reset, that's it. It's gone. I changed 2 phones in the last 6 months. And the first time it was really painful because everything was gone. Now when I changed it, it was painful to change the phone, but I figured out, okay, yeah, now I have all these. I don't care if I lost all this information because the stuff that I wanted is backed up and I don't need it in WhatsApp. I wish there was a way from those apps to just say, hey, send it to my email. Just send it to my email and don't keep it. I don't even want it on my phone. There's no reason for it to have it on my phone because it's just old stuff. Most of it loses its relevancy within days. Am I looking at it the wrong way? Somebody?
No,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I don't know
keeping
why you
your
back it up to email, but
I mean, that's the only way that I can bring it into the computer. Now,
No.
with WhatsApp, I
Google
have
Drive, there's plenty. I mean, email's a very antiquated way of doing it. If you're trying to back up your
yeah,
stuff
but
to Google
email
No,
Drive,
no.
is
it's very
something
easy.
that Amnon owns. Amnon
Correct,
owns the
correct.
server.
Yeah, but no.
So for
Let me tell
Amnon,
you.
that's the easiest way.
Let me tell you why I'm
Yeah.
saying email, because that's the only way that I know to move it to my computer.
No, it's
I'm-
not. There's millions.
okay.
There's other ways. There's other
Yeah.
ways.
Well, that's
Like I have when I need to move stuff to my computer, besides plugging it in, I just put it on Google Drive, and then I can get it from anywhere.
okay. Well, I
And
mean,
that
it's
stuff,
sort
and
of
that stuff's built. That stuff's built in, like at least on the iPhone. If I save an image, I can share it, and I
Mhm.
share it to Google Drive, and it just uploads.
Okay. Well,
So
I never set up Google
There are
Drive.
other methods. It's not
There
that
are.
this one is better than the other, right? Just there are other methods. And once you figure, by the way, I think the best out there, check out something called SyncThing, right? That's a completely
Thing.
SyncThing.
Okay.
Sync
Yeah.
synchronization,
Just
sync. Yeah. So SyncThing is an application. You install it on your PC, you install it on your phone, you install it on a remote server
Mhm.
or something, right? And basically, these all share the ability to synchronize between themselves. So if you have 2 computers, you have 3 phones, you set up the SyncThing on all of them. The authentication is done via QR codes with the phones and all that. So it's or copy paste of a code between the computers, and you can set up a folder, for example, a directory on your phone that syncs automatically to your PC. So the moment a file is saved there, right, it'll
Oh,
turn up on your PC, and it
okay.
doesn't go through a centralized server. It's all directly, they're all directly connected. So
Okay.
that is probably the best solution out there. Doesn't require any server, doesn't require anybody to sell you a service. You just download the app and you use it. So very, very excellent solution. It knows
Sync
to
thing.
watch a folder for
Okay.
changes and then sync them up and down. Yeah. Sync
Yeah,
thing.
that sounds good. This is sort of like that second copy that I use for backup. Anytime a file changes in one of those folders, it sends it to the other computer for backing up. And
Right,
that's
but this is multi-platform. This is
yeah,
like everywhere,
nice. Yeah.
ubiquitous.
Yeah.
So SyncThing, there's actually for Windows specifically, because this is a multi-platform application, there is there is a tool that installs and manages from your system tray. It's called SyncThing. I'll find that link and I'll send it in a second before we end the show.
Oh, it's interesting. It's interesting that something like this is available, because that's
So
the trick, is to save. I mean, to keep the
yeah,
things that you want. Yeah,
yeah. That I agree. I agree.
yeah.
And this one is like the best that I've found. It's how should I explain it? So there is a commercial tool similar to this. It used to be called BitTorrent Sync. Then it changed its name to Resilio. You can buy you basically buy a license to the application because it's not a service, right? Everything is run on your machines. There's
Mhm.
they do not interact. They do interact in one way. Their server helps in identifying the endpoints, but that's it. It's like a DNS server more than anything else. And so SyncThing is like the completely open, completely distributed option uh, um, alternative to that, and it has matured for a while, and it is definitely a mature system, and I highly recommend it.
All right.
So the last link, the Sync Trezor, basically helps you manage SyncThing, because SyncThing is like this service that runs in the background on Windows that's very unintuitive. The Sync Trezors provide a tray icon to manage that service, and a very easy UI to access it.
Okay. Good. Very, very good. All right. Anything else, guys?
No,
Nick?
sir.
Spence?
Yeah.
Spence is muted.
I'm going to start putting in a new modem line in case I lose my internet connection. You still
And
have a
hook it
bank of
to ham
modems?
radio.
Yeah, you still have a bank
Ham
of,
radio. Get a
bank of
license.
modems?
I have a bank of modems. If you want 56K or if you want ISDN, I still have both.
Yeah, you can use. I had a friend he's probably still very involved in local ham, but he was in the React, the people that would do disaster communications, and we actually set up a tower on the top of the building, and we had a Nortel off. Not was it Nortel? Bay Networks office back in I guess in the 90s. He was responsible for putting an antenna up there for the relay.
And I'll say one thing too about ham radio. When you get your general license, there's a lot of digital radio with packet transmission. It's not all there's obviously there's a lot of phone communication, which is voice, but there's a whole hell of a lot of packetized digital information that is really popping off. So you can do some really cool things with packet radio.
That's what he was involved with, was having a way to back up critical services with packet-based.
So
nah, that's too technological. Check out IP over AVN carriers. I just sent the link.
AVN carriers?
That's yeah, I think they quote like about, they have like about quoting. It's like, yeah, 55% packet loss.
Packet loss.
Oh, it's a bird.
No, it's a carrier
it's
pigeon.
aviation. AVN carriers. It's pigeon carriers.
Pigeon carriers.
Well, I was reading a post that conservatives are banned from owning pigeons. So you might,
but
yeah, there's a new law. Conservatives cannot have pigeons.
But Nick, I thought that if I remember correctly,
what,
the local ham club had they all have repeaters.
They have repeaters,
but they had a server somewhere that you could ask.
It's called Echolink
to connect to a phone line.
I don't know about a phone line.
No, Echolink, I remember
Echolink connects the repeaters to the internet so that you can talk to a repeater over.
I'm talking now. I'm talking about probably in the 90s.
Yeah, well, that would be useless now. Nobody uses phone lines.
People were No, phone lines. If you want to call somebody, voice.
Yeah,
If you
they
want to
don't-
call my number, you can do it with your ham radio.
Yeah, I don't know of a service like that that still
And
exists.
okay,
It
'Cause I
used to be
remember-
mobile. I mean, before cell phones were around, there was mobile.
Well, that's what the first cell phone was one-way communication with
Yeah.
it was simplex, and then you would listen back on the receiver.
Yep. The original
it was-
car phones were.
Yeah, it was
just-
HF to your carrier, and the carrier would place the call on your behalf. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like early 80s though, or maybe mid 80s.
John is asking.
Hello,
can
honey,
you-
I'll be late. Over.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You'd be talking over HF. Yes, John, you can listen to it on the internet. You can. There's a couple places to do it. I'm
sure you can search on.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, there's a million repeaters to listen to. So what you want to do is search for your area first. Find a club in your area that's got a repeater. Go to repeaterbook.com, and you can look at stuff there. I'll post a link in chat for it. That's a good resource to find repeaters, and they'll have information on there, whether they're available on the IP or how you can listen to it. Some are on those scanner websites. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ways to listen to things.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, Alan, you're right. Everybody, I mean, Arnie, everybody has a mobile phone. That's true.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a way to do
Yeah.
it, but there'd be no reason
Nick,
for that.
what's your call signal?
Kilo Delta 2 Kilo Papa Lima?
Oh, Delta
KD
2 Kilo
yep, KD
Papa Lima.
KD2 KPL. I'm not sure. I'm sure the database hasn't been updated yet because it's a weekend. But
Oh, right, that you just got it, right?
yeah,
Because of
so, I mean, I have the certificate to
yeah.
I can talk on the certificate, but the FCC database likely won't show
He's a
They would definitely won't show.
certified.
general.
So what is it?
General
If you take you off the air, it's not called deplatforming with ham. What is it called?
Killing you. That's pretty much the only way. I mean, I don't know how else. Besides shutting your power off. I mean,
The
I
air.
did. I did order. Maybe I maybe I should not say this on the show, but I did order a 4-week food supply from the Patriot Supply site.
I've had it for years.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. It's like,
Yeah, Arnie's saying phone patch. That's it.
yep, my food supply will be here on Monday.
We're not going to hear from Nick for the next 4 weeks.
Yes, you will.
He's gonna.
Oh, no.
Are you going to go in the center of the house and?
I'm
dig?
not bugging out. I'm not bugging out. I'm
No,
I'm
it's
preparing.
fine. This is a smart thing to do. Absolutely.
Are you going to make your house like the guy
Right.
on Better Call Saul, where he lined the whole house with foil?
Oh
Painted-
yeah, that crazy guy with the radiation. Yeah,
He
no.
painted the house with anti-radiation paint.
What,
and he
what was that
lined the
guy's
whole
deal? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, he was a RF.
He was
apparently hurt
allergic
him.
to static electricity.
He was
Yes,
allergic
static
to
electricity.
It was
Yeah.
his Saul's brother.
But he wasn't really allergic. He wasn't really
No,
allergic. to
he
it,
was
all
he
I'm saying.
was
No, it
he had
was- it
a
was
mental
some sort of-
condition.
Yeah, mental condition.
But what I mean, that whole story, the way it played out, was just amazing.
Huh.
I need to
That's
go back and catch up on. I haven't watched that in a while. Can you get Netflix over a modem? I mean, is that like one image every 30 seconds, something like that?
Yeah, they converted to ASCII.
Yeah.
So, actually, funny that you're asking that. I need to find it now that you mention it. So I saw a post about a video codec. Somebody developed a video codec to put full. Yeah, so they took like a full feature film. I don't remember which right now, and put it on a single diskette of 1.4K.
Really?
Yeah.
1.4
It's like
meg.
it's highly granulated, of course, but you get the complete image. The frame rate is like 5 frames per second, something like that. But the codec practically works, and so when you're thinking about preserving content, not with quality, obviously, it's possible to even limit the bandwidth to such a small dose. So I'll try to find that. That was an awesome thing.
I almost took it. I interviewed for a job. I did not accept it. I worked in Boulder, Colorado on a temporary assignment for IBM in 1984 and was offered a job to work in the plant. This was a plant where they did printers, and printers were later. Actually, it was copiers. But I was offered a job working on the assembly line for diskettes and maintaining the line. And it's not what I was looking for. I turned it down, and we didn't really want to move at the time. But I went and I toured the 5 1/4 inch diskette line where they made the diskettes.
Yeah, Shrek was the movie they encoded. I'll find it. I think.
Of course, it was Shrek. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is. I'm pasting.
How's the audio quality?
I
Guys,
don't
we
know.
need guys. We need
just read
to.
about it.
We
We need to get off. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to
Amazon's
get
running out of bandwidth.
or will be deplatformed.
Good.
All right. So, thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Spence. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Karin, Dana, Dina, Arlit, Michael, and Eleanor. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And if you haven't listened before, tonight is a must listen to Nick's Against the Norm. 7 o'clock at atnshow.com. If you're in Wilmington, you can listen to it on FM 106.7. But from his website, you can see the video of it and the audio. But
Yes,
you
sir.
got to do it. And Tuesday, Nick also does Infection Podcast. Infection Survival Game. 7 o'clock on Twitch. So it's twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.